So I was thinking this morning of the question of whether or not we actually need supplements. They're very popular these days, and I think that the answer to that is kind of complicated. But I'll just say in short that I believe that supplements are particularly helpful to us these days. So, do I take supplements? I do, not a lot. Because me personally, I've kind of not necessarily been a real big fan of supplementation. Um, but like for example, right now I take a cod liver oil supplement. I actually kind of been off for a bit because I hadn't ordered any in a while, but I just ordered some today, and so I'm gonna resume taking that, and then I also take a vitamin D supplement as well. Now, the reason why I've tended to have an aversion to supplements is because I'm a big believer that we should take in supplements. I mean, not supplements, but nutrients in as natural of a way as possible, i.e., through our food or through however else we're supposed to that we naturally get it. So, like vitamin D, for example, I think that the main source of it is the sun for all of us, and so we should get that as from the sun as much as possible. Uh, then you have supplements. Like of other nutrients, vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin E, all those kind of supplements, like a multivitamin. I haven't tended to take those when I was younger, and I learned that a lot of those just kind of make expensive urine more or less. I kind of got off of them, and then also I began to wonder at some point, what's the use of vitamins if there's a whole lot of other nutrients in foods that people haven't even really discovered or don't really fully understand and haven't put into these multivitamins. Um, so I kind of had got an aversion to them somewhat. Not really an aversion. That's too strong of a word. But more or less, I was kind of just wondering the worth of. But I do believe that a multivitamin can be beneficial, especially if it's like food source. Like if it's from like a food, not just like a synthetic multivitamin, multimineral. But anyway, the reason why I believe that it could be very useful is because of the fact that the way that our food tends to be produced these days is seemingly to me inferior than it used to be, than how it used to be. So like case in point, I've mentioned before, the whole thing with how vegetables and fruits are grown in inferior soils. So basically, and this makes total sense to me because I was actually looking up stuff pertaining to my own home garden, which I really need to kind of get going. It's going, but I still need to plant some more stuff. But anyhow, the soils are not replenished in the optimal way so that the soil can continue to bear good plants that produce good fruit and whatnot. So basically, what happens is like when you look at conventionally grown stuff, they grow crops in soil and they do like monocrops. So that means they grow, one kind of thing, or they grow the same stuff over and over again. It usually be like a whole field of corn, a whole field of cotton, a whole field of soybeans or whatever. Um, and I'm not even mentioning the pesticides and stuff, but then after that, the soil is fertilized, but it's mainly fertilized with like what is it? The three nitrogen, potassium, and phosphorus. And that's not all that plants need. Just like we have a need for a lot of different nutrients, they need a lot of different nutrients too. But the soil is fertilized with potassium, phosphorus, and nitrogen, and that stuff is enough for a plant to look good, but it's still deficient. You have various other minerals and vitamins and whatnot that the plant would normally get from the soil and then be able to provide to us when we eat them. But it's not able to because it's just not really there in a lot of quantity. And so what happens is we become deficient in those as well. Now, the way that they would normally get replenished from that stuff is the soil is replenished organically by like organic material. Like for example, like if an animal dies or if a plant dies, and then that organic material is broken down by organisms in the soil, like bacteria and worms. That's up back in the soil, and then the plant can kind of use it from there. It's a whole cycle. But a lot of that is just kind of like circumvented because of our methodologies of conventional planting. So that to me it convinces me that the nutrient content of our food is less than it used to be since everything began to be grown the of vegetables. That's something I'm striving to do is eat a lot more vegetables, decent amount of them. I want to eat even more to get as many of my nutrients from food as possible. The big thing that concerns me though about supplement usage is that in our society, supplements tend to be very popular. Again, this is my opinion. They seem to be very popular because of certain claims that they make, usually claims around like fat burning, or stuff like that. Now, this is my personal opinion. I don't believe that you can really take any supplement. Like, for example, I just throw out there green tea extract. I don't believe noticeable fat loss. I don't believe that there's any supplement like that that could be used for that. Now, of course, they have drugs and things like that, and I have my own kind of like um things against those types of ways of losing fat. But especially when it comes to fat burning, a lot of times we really believe that stuff and then we will buy that while still having an unhealthy lifestyle. Another thing that we tend to believe with supplements is that it can be like a type of insurance. You know, um, if you eat a diet full of junk food, but then you take your multivitamin, multimineral, and you're good. And that's just not true. It's not true. Like really, the body is going to be healthy if you are comprehensively taking care of yourself. And that we're not doing okay. We're really not. So that's the thing that first and foremost aiming for, but not just food. That's exercise, that's sleep, healthy social relationships and things like that. Then I believe that you will truly that you using a quality multivitamin, multimineral, or other certain supplements actually could be something that would be a good idea. It actually may be helpful in your case. As we get older, it becomes increasingly important to maintain and build muscle. Muscle helps you burn fat, stay mobile, and can contribute to longevity. However, many people have no idea how to work out to build muscle. My mini workout series on Patreon provides you with my body weight mini workout video library. These workouts use little to no equipment, which means that you can do them in the privacy of your own home. They start at beginner level and progress from there to ensure you continue to see results. Every workout is a full body workout, hitting chest, back, legs, and glutes, as well as other muscles in between. Become a patron today and receive access to my series of mini workouts, plus access to a digital copy of my book, 8 Weeks to Transform Your Diet and Your Health. By combining the workouts with healthy diet changes, as outlined in my book, you'll definitely be on your way to weight loss, improved health, and visible results. Join me at patreon.com/SeanB2B Fitness today.